Now that we've got a really cool animatable pivot that we didn't really have to work too hard for, we can start testing out the controller. So if I go across to it and start rotating, you'll notice that a few things don't really work too well. So the wheels, for instance, right now don't move around as you'd expect. They're sort of just sitting around doing nothing. That's fine. This is hierarchy issues and things like that, so we can go in and start adjusting this as we go. Because there's no skinning, it's really easy to adjust the hierarchy, not really affect too many things. So for instance, let's take a look at this back wheel, and if we move this around, the wheel comes along for free, which is really cool. That's nice. And if we rotate the rotation control that we've got on the outside here, you'll notice that nothing actually happens right now. So we've just got some parenting issues that we need to fix up, really. So let me just go ahead and hide the upper geometry so that we don't see it. So I'm just going to double click the I've just double clicked the point controller, or the point group, and I'm just going to right click and hide selection. So now we can just see the wheels and what they're doing and how they're behaving. And if I rotate the car drift control, you can see that the front wheels, they don't come along, and they should be coming along with this. So let's take a look at what we can do. If we grab the axle control at the front and just rotate it, you can see that the controls are coming along, and that's actually what we need. We need those controls to come along. And if I just press page up, I can see in the hierarchy what's next, what its parent is. So I can see that the steering is its parent, and that looks really fine. That looks fine for what we need for the actual steering, but I don't think that's going to do with all of the other controls. It's not really going to do what we need it to. So I'm going to just go in and parent this using the select and link tool. I'm just going to move the axle up to the drift control, and then when I move the drift control, that's going to come along, which is really cool. And when I rotate the steering, only the steering's come along. We really need the wheels to be affected at this point, but we'll come along to that later. For now, let's concentrate on the back wheels. They're a little bit easier to deal with. So if we just go to the axle, let's have a look at what control we have. So that axle looks fine. That's sort of what I want from the wheels. And let's have a look at this. So this rotates the wheel around, which is not really what we want. So let's check the hierarchy. That's going to be the easiest thing for me to do, to figure out how we need to parent this to get it working properly. So I'm just going to open my schematic view, and we've got 0.5 and 6 floating, and those are the points that are sitting right in between the wheels on both the back and front. And we've got all of this here, which is right now you can see that it's hidden just because it's not the same, it doesn't have the same color. It's a little bit grayed out. So these are the things that we've just hidden, which is fine. So this is going to be all of the main geometry for the large part of the car, all the chassis and the body. But we have the wheels. We should have the wheels somewhere. Let's take a look. So we have the wheels parented in down here. So we've got 0.3 connected directly to the wheel rear L control. So let's just minimize that. And it's going to be this guy that it's parented to. And that means that this is going to, it's going to take everything along with it. It's really not what we want. This is more of a rotation control at this point. So let's just select and link this up to the rotation. Cool. Now, because if we just grab this rotation control on the outside and just page up, this is now connected, from here it's going to the tire control. If we page up again, it goes down to that the wheel rear L control. So we should be able to rotate now, and the wheel comes along, which is cool. The brake pads are coming along, which we need to fix up in a minute. But let's we can rotate that around, that's fine. If we actually move this controller up and down, it should come along, which is cool. And this bottom one should still control the position of where this wheel is, which is what we want, but we don't want it to be able to really rotate it around like we had before. We want to have the control for rotation on this, which is fine. That's looking really good. Okay, so let's go and do that for the rest of the wheel. So I'm just going to take this point that's already on the wheel and just move it to the rotation controller. Just parent that in. Let's just quickly check. It looks good. And let's move along to the front. The front wheels are pretty similar. They've just got the steering on it as well. So select and link. Let's have a look at the rotation. Great. And again, let's use select and link. And I'll check the rotation on this control. Cool. So that's all working. Like I said, the brake pad here, called box 08 for instance, we really want this to come along with the wheel, but we don't want to be rotating it around. That's not really cool. So let's just I'm just gonna grab the brake and just press the page up just to find where it's going to. So that's parented right into that rotation controller, which is not really what I want. So let's use the select and link tool, and we'll just drag it to the down arrow. So now when we rotate, you can see that the disc brake that stays perfectly still, which is what we need. But when we actually move this, it's going to come along, and when we move the main controller, it's coming along as well. So let's just do this quickly for everything else, all of the other brake pads. Let's put that along, and I'm just using the select and link tool just to parent this to the down arrow. And again, when we rotate that wheel control, that stays perfectly still. So that's what we need from the wheels for the rotation. That's really simple. So I'm just going to check these back wheels just to make sure everything's working fine. So these are coming along with this just nicely. We can move this off. We can move this one. We should be able to move this as well, but keep this controller should stay stationary, which it does. Let's do the rotation. Should be able to move that as well, really, but we'll just rotate it. And all this is, is just a quick check to see if my hierarchy for the rear wheels is fine. Now I know the front wheels are not going to be behaving as we want right now. They don't have any steering and things like that. But let's do a quick check again just to see if everything's going along. So that rotation, and I should be able to move it, which I can. Let's move this. And there again. Cool. And just check the rotation one more time. Alright. Okay, nice. Let's have a look at this drift control. So those are coming along just fine now. Remember, the steering's not in place, so they're not going to be pointing anywhere. But if I just right click and unhide all, when I rotate that now, that's going to look really good. So just to go back to the animatable pivot, let me just go and save this. So let's do a file, save as. And I'm just going to add this to 012. And with that selected, the drift control, I'm just going to go change where the position of this sub-object is, just like we did with the cube. And I'm just going to move it down to this front wheel somewhere. Maybe in the center of it a bit. Excellent. Let's turn that off. And let's see what we can do with the animatable pivot. So you can see that we can do the drift from just one wheel, or we could go back in here as well. Let's move it to one of the rear wheels. And when we rotate from this point, it's going to rotate from that back wheel again. So that's really handy for us to have just placed in for animators and stuff like that. So really nice and simple. Next we'll move on to getting the steering actually working as well.